It's Wednesday, 13th of December 2023, and this is Gttv News with me, Aisha Tukuli. First, we begin with the top stories. President Adama Barrow has arrived in Banjul after attending the ECOWAS 64th Ordinary Session meeting in Nigeria. Demolition team has pulled down more structures in Kololi despite concerns among residents. To sports, Manchester United have been kicked out of European Championship by Bayern Munich at Old Trafford. In internationals, South African music icon Zahra has died aged 36. Jordan Army has killed drug runners at Syrian border amid scoring Captagon trade. A man has been served 20 years jail sentence in UK for raping a woman in front of other passengers on London Underground. Those are the headlines, and now let's look at them in details. Stay tuned. Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is Gttv News and I am your presenter, Aisha Tukuli. Now, His Excellency President Adama Barrow has returned from Abuja, where he joined the rest of the ECOWAS leaders to attend the Regional Bloc's 64th Ordinary Session. The sub-regional leaders discussed silent issues regarding the development of the region. More on this report. The summit was centered around the sub-region's peace, security and stability, which came after a rise in military takeovers, which has been exacerbated by instabilities. The West African leaders were urged by the chairman to prioritize good governance for the people and serve as catalysts for socio-economic transformation and development. But one of the key recommendations tasked through the government of the Gambia and its stakeholders was for them to expedite the adoption of a new constitution ahead of the 2026 general election and the recommendations of the Truth, Reconciliation and Commission's white paper.
Basically, there were a lot of issues discussed about other countries, but the Gambia was about the constitution and the TRRC. But so far, I think we are on track. The TRRC, we are setting up a team because we need to investigate these cases before we can go to court or otherwise. So we are trying to set up that team, and the Minister of Justice is leading that. And also we have organizations that are partnering with us to make sure that we have consensus on the constitution, so that we can go to referendum. I think that's what we are doing. We are on track. But because it's an international body that we are part of, they also want to encourage Gambia and support Gambia as far as these issues are concerned.
In reacting to the extension of economic mission in the Gambia to another 1 year, the Gambian leader said the extension was not requested by the government, but an assessment was done in the sub-region.
It was not even a request from our government, but looking at the circumstances around the sub-region, I think they deem it fit that the mission should continue. And knowing very well that they have a representative here, and they did all their assessment and things that are happening around the sub-region, I think there was a conclusion that, consensus that Gambia, the team in the Gambia should continue.
Barrow also had several engagements with the Gambian community in Nigeria, in which issues affecting them such as passports and other challenges were highlighted.
Yes, I had a very, very good meeting with them. They have issues, they have challenges, because it's challenges of getting passports, challenges of getting birth certificates for their children. I think these were their major challenges. And we were able to give them suggestions and proposals for the way forward, how to address those issues. I think basically that was the discussion, and they always wanted me to update them about developments in the Gambia, and which we did very well, to inform them about the development and the peace and the progress that is in the Gambia, and what we are doing, the infrastructural development. We did make mention of all that.
Aisha Tukuli, reporting for Gttv News. Government-sanctioned demolition team has pulled down more restaurants and salons at Kololi, but some residents view the demolition will cripple the tourist season. Mbombe Sise picks up the rest of the story.
This year's tourist season. However, despite the complaints, The demolition team wasted no time in executing their duty by pulling down dozens of restaurants, salons and shops they said were illegally built on the roadside. Jere Jata, a resident of Kololi, said they have no choice other than to comply with the operation. He, however, added that the operation will have a significant effect on this year's tourist season. He continued that demolition of restaurants will force the tourists to stay in their hotels, which he described to have a bad effect on the country's economy.
Time we begin a ligue hals moneka December, January mom fofla profit begin aduga. Why right now no more de many hals na am de why dafa gina meti sinye ni tamit. Na nyo de gabre dafa gina meti. Because the guys in the restaurant you neka jisi hotel yep hals lim de dugal. Ondo sanga malani. So sunyore talk another like 3 months, 4 months ligue unitamit. The guys ne hotel foreigners yako control like na Libanese nyoko control ak ñeneen so da nga gis ne xaalis bala ñu nekk di liggéey du na des Gambia dafa génn so dafa mel ni like Gambia ñu ngi am suñu losses si months yi ñoo ni months yi December January ak February dañu am losses by and force because suñu daanee restaurants tubaab bi still dafa mel ni dañu like dañoo stay hotel si la ñoo stay di am seen dina seen breakfast so suñu génnee da nga gis ne si restaurant yi ndaw yi si la ñoo mën a dugal hal si bunda si biir dëkk ba malani te da nga gis ne fii 3/4 hotel so su nekk 100% 95 hotel yëpp foreigner yaa ko moom nañu wante dëgg naar Libanese ak ñeneen ñoo ko moom.
Meanwhile, Mr. Elliot, also a resident of Kololi, lamented that some elements of people are using one of his residents in Kololi as a drug hideout, while calling on the authorities to help address the situation for him.
But every at night, so they go at the night. They go at the night. That's where they walk. You know, I can sip. I can see what is happening. But we are here. That's what's happening. But you go to the back, you see how only they are Nigerians. First, you can't sleep. You cannot even sleep. But I'm sorry, but the police, the problem. You come in the evening, 7 o'clock you come, but in the evening, you go, and then you go. But you see, that's the problem. We have complained, now to do anything. You see?
Reporting for Gttv News, I am Bombe Sise.
From that story by Bombe Sise will lead us to our first commercial break. When we come back, we look at sports. Stay tuned. Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, you've been reminded that you're still watching Gttv News. Now to sports. Trouble for Manchester United double up as they were kicked out of the European Championship after suffering a late defeat at Old Trafford against Bayern Munich on Tuesday night. Our Bakari Tamba files in this report.
Manchester United's season of mystery plundered even further into the depth of despair as they exit the Champions League at the group stage after defeat by Bayern Munich at Old Trafford. Erik ten Hag's side beaten 3-0 at home to Bournemouth in the Premier League on Saturday needed to beat the Bundesliga champions and hope that there was no winner in the other group game between Copenhagen and Galatasaray. And even though Bayern were already comfortable winners of Group A, United are still unable to fulfill their part of the bargain on a night of bitter disappointment. United were already handicapped by first-half injuries to England duo Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw, with news filtering through that Copenhagen were ahead in Denmark. Bayern seals their fate by scoring the winner with 20 minutes left. England captain Harry Kane inevitably was involved with a deft touch to release Kingsley Coman, who easily beat exposed United keeper Andre Onana in front of the Stamford end. United won just one of their 6 group games in the competition, and defeat against Bayern means they also missed the chance to drop into the Europa League by finishing third. The smattering of jeers that greeted the final whistle has United slide out of the Champions League, and indeed all European competition for this season, mirrored the mood of resignation that hung over Old Trafford long before the final whistle. Anyone who expects United to come out swinging in an attempt to overturn the odds and reach the knockout stage could have been slowly disappointed, as Ten Hag team and toothless, mustering a merciless single shot on target against a Bayern side who did not have anything to play off. The injuries to Maguire and Shaw, watched by England manager Gareth Southgate, did not help United cause, but this cannot be often up as an excuse for a performance desperately lacking in qualities, inspiration, and creation. Bayern veteran goalkeeper Manuel Neuer was on trouble throughout, with all the pace and threat on offered on a low-key night coming from the Germans, who were rewarded for their superiority with Koeman's winner. The space and time afforded before his finish almost embarrassing. Rasmus Holland has a chasing sign, running tirelessly without any service and being out-muscled comprehensively by Upamecano and Kim Min-ji. The Den was bit over, exhausted and beaten seconds before the final whistle. When the draw for this group was made, United must have listed their return to the Champions League, but it has been a harrowing experience. They came up short on the twin fault of a team that is not fit for purpose and also only too happy to engineer their own downfall, as they did when conceding 2 goals late to lose in Copenhagen and draw away to Galatasaray. United now have all the feels of a club in crisis that Ten Hag under serious scrutiny and the prospect of a tough trip to Liverpool on Sunday, with Maguire and Shaw likely missing through injury and captain Bruno Fernandes suspended. Harry Kane is the first player in the Big 5 European leagues across all competitions this season to reach 30 goal involvements, 22 goals, 8 assists. England captain Kane had a relatively quiet night as he returned to Old Trafford, but offered up a touch of class that helped Koeman to settle the game. Kane's dedicated touch on the edge of the area unlocked the United defense, leaving the French forward to complete the formalities of this dismantled night for the home supporters. The former Spurs striker saw exactly what he was brought to Bayern, dropping deep as a creator while also showing a willingness to do the dirty work by chasing back to the defense. It's a class act, as we know. No wonder United manager Ten Hag was keen to bring him to Old Trafford before reluctantly accepting this was a deal that could not be done. Bakary Tamba, Gttv News.
From that sports story by Bakary Tamba will lead us to our second break. When we come back, we'll look at news beyond our borders. Stay tuned. Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, you have been reminded that you are still watching Gttv News with me. Now let's gaze at news around the world, where an award-winning South African pop singer, Bulewa Makutukana, popularly known as Zahra, has died. The country's culture minister announced she has been in hospital, reportedly with liver complications, and the government had been helping the family for some time. Sports, Arts and Culture Minister Zizi Kodwa said. Habisatuba files in this report.
The songstress won fame in 2011 with her album Loliwi, Love Across Africa. In 2019, Zahara opened up about her battle with alcohol addiction. Last month, the family confirmed she had been admitted to hospital and called on South Africans to keep the musician in their prayers. She passed away on Monday night in a Johannesburg hospital at the age of 36. State-run SABC News website reports. While her family is yet to release an official statement, fans have been grieving and sharing fond memories on social media. Mr. Kotwa posted on X, formerly Twitter, that Zahara and her guitar made an incredible and lasting impact in South African music. Zahara, who released 5 albums, won dozens of awards, both local and international. In 2020, she was named in the BBC's 100 Women list. The songwriter also used her platform to speak out about violence against women in South Africa, something she has revealed had happened to her. In an interview with a local radio last year, Zahara said her music was not for recognition, but to bring comfort to broken souls that need healing. Reporting for Gambian Stallions TV News, I am Habsatuba.
Jordan's army has said that it killed several drug smugglers near the Syrian border, cracking down on the trade of the highly addictive drug Captagon. The amphetamine-like stimulant is mass-produced in Syria and channeled through Jordan into the Gulf states. It is true to generate millions of dollars for Syria's government and Iraq island militias that control swathe of South Syria. Fatuchor reports.
Dozens of drug runners crossed the Syrian border on Tuesday, stranded in dense fog with reduced visibility and fired at Jordanian border guards, Jordan's army said in a statement. One Jordanian officer and several drug dealers were killed in the shootout, the army said. One soldier was injured. Many dealers reportedly escaped back into Syria, which shares a 370 kilometers, 230 mile, mostly desert border with Jordan. The Jordanian army said that they act forcefully to protect our borders and prevent any attempt to undermine our national security. But the army did not specify where exactly the breach occurred, but Syrian sources told the Reuters news agency that the incident occurred northeast of the city of Mafraq in Jordan. The border clash comes just a week after 3 other smugglers were shot dead while trying to traffic large quantities of Captacon pills into Jordan. Smugglers often sneak the drugs into Jordan in transit to wealthy Gulf states, which fuel most of the business, according to Western narcotics control officials. Jordanian officials echo Western claims that Lebanon's Hezbollah group and other Iran-allied militias are behind the smuggling networks, accusation Hezbollah denies. Jordan has raised concerns about the drug trade with Syrian authorities and the ally Russia, they said. But Syria's government denies involvement and said it is doing its best to stop the drug trade. The United States, meanwhile, has promised to send more military aid to boost Jordan's border security, Jordanian officials said. Adding to more than $1 billion Washington has provided since Syria's conflict broke out in 2011. However, impatient over what it says are broken promises to scrap the trade, Jordan took matters into its own hands earlier this year, waging several cries against Iran-linked drug factories in Syria territory. Local and Western intelligence sources said. According to Reuters, officials expect the smuggling runs into Jordan to spike as winter sets in, as poorer visibility makes it easier for traffickers to move undetected. Reporting for Gttv News, I am Fatucho.
A man has been jailed for raping a woman in a brazen attack on the London Underground in front of other passengers during a busy morning service. Ryan Johnson, 37, was sentenced at Inner London Crown Court on Friday to 9 years in prison with a further 5 on Lancing, and the Crown Prosecution Service CPS said. Modulamin Job tells us more.
Ryan Johnson was charged with rape, attempted rape and 2 counts of sexual assault as well as outraging public decency in relation to another complainant. Johnson chased 2 women to their home after they noticed him masturbating while looking through the window outside the house near Bounce Green Underground Station at around 5 a.m. on 23 February 2020, the British Transport Police said. He banged on their door and put his hand through the letterbox after the women managed to get inside safely before he eventually left. He then boarded a Piccadilly line train at Heathrow Terminal 5 around 3 hours later, where he approached a young woman who was asleep, the BTP said. Johnson sexually assaulted and then raped the 20-year-old who was returning home from an evening out with friends in front of other passengers. A French national traveling with his 11-year-old son witnessed the attack and reported it to the police. But the attack was not captured on CCTV and officers were unable to identify the victim at the time of the attack, the BTP said. Johnson was arrested at HMP Brixton where he was serving time for burglary in December 2020 after a BTP review of historical rape cases led to his identification and detectives identified the victim in the same month. The French national was flown to the UK to testify at the trial, where he helped rebut Johnston's claim he knew the complainant and she had consented, the CPS said. A jury found Johnson guilty of all 5 charges after a 2-week trial at Inner London Crown Court in August. He was also placed on the sex offenders register indefinitely. Senior Investigating Officer Detective Inspector Paul Atwell of the BTP's Major Serious and Organized Crime Unit said Johnson's brazen attack in front of witnesses highlights his lack of shame or remorse for his actions, something which he continued throughout his trial. He said that he is thankful that his violent and despicable actions have been recognized by the guilty verdict and significant sentence, adding that his deep brave actions will have a long-life impact on the victim and those who witnessed this. Reporting for Gttv News, I am Mudamin Job.
Well, that's the end of tonight's bulletin, but before we take leave of you, let's take a look at our top stories once again. President Adama Barrow has arrived in Banjul after attending the ECOWAS 64th Ordinary Session meeting in Nigeria. Demolition team has pulled down more structures in Kololi despite concerns among residents. To sports, Manchester United have been kicked out of European Championship by Bayern Munich at Old Trafford. In internationals, South African music icon Zahra has died aged 36. Jordan Army has killed drug runners at Syrian border amid scoring Captagon trade. A man has been served 20 years jail sentence in UK for raping a woman in front of other passengers on London Underground. Thank you for your company and do keep following and subscribing to Gambian Talents Promotions for more interesting news and programs. I have been your presenter, Aisa Tukoli, and from me and our production team, cheers and do have a pleasant night. Bye.